Hello and welcome to our first episode of our role-playing miniseries. I'm Decurio Amhar, and I'm joined by my co-host, Decurio Chamlan, and my good friends, Chef Tekonis and Leonodas. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
As always, if you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you are finding us on YouTube, and don't forget to click on the bell button. If you find us on Spotify, feel free to follow us and leave a comment. We also can be found on patreon.com/Concilium Historica Imperialis, where for a $5 membership, you can get early access to our content, get access to exclusive content, such as our bonus episode where we conduct our session 0 for this mini-series, and get a chance to vote on our future projects. You'll be helping us out a bunch if you do, and it is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. With that out of the way, I now turn things over to Decurio Chamlan, our GM for the mini-series. Chamlan?
It is indeed the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. For the era Indomitus has not yet ripped the galaxy asunder. In fact, it is 639-993 M40. And right now, the largest news in the galaxy is that Commissar Kane, noted hero of the Imperium, has retired from active service. Although that's not necessarily important to our players tonight. For currently, the agents of Lord Commissar Abel Stalker are embroiled in a massive conspiracy of minor proportions upon the noted world of one steel worm called Campionato. I said that too Italian. It's probably more of a Spanish kind of sound. Yes, fun. Steel worm, why don't you describe Campionato to us?
Campionato is a kind of typical fantasy setting. Think of like Faerun, Middle Earth, something like that. Crossed with like Luchador, Mystique, and word's not there.
Vibes.
Yeah,
We'll go with vibes. Fair enough. We find ourselves in a small hamlet. I guess a hamlet. If it's Faerun, they have hamlets, right? We find ourselves in a small hamlet speaking with Worm's mother, Diamond Cisne. You're fine. Essentially the mayor of this hamlet. She is an ancient crone, more ancient than the 88-year-old steel worm, although still alive. When she was an adult, she was short. Now she's minuscule. She has long hair. She is kept elaborately braided and dark, tan skin. Now, as I've said before to the three of you and to the other visitors, the Psyker isn't the concern here. The Psyker lives off in the mountains. They stay in their own cave. That's not the problem. Although, sorry, let me step back. There's a Jackalo loop, all right? And if you go there, then you can go and claim your small fortress for your Lord Commissar hero, whatever nonsense she's after. But you need to remove the Jackalo and then get rid of the Noel planned. Otherwise, it's just going to be a problem. The problem, however, is that there was already somebody here. They kept insisting that the Psyker must be at the fortress, even though I told them the Psyker was in the cave. But you know how these people are. They don't like listening to us. What do we know? Regardless, they took 2 of ours, and then they went to go deal with whatever was at the fortress, and they're probably just going to get themselves killed, because they're expecting a Psyker and not a Jackalo. So, if you go there and handle that, then you'll get your fort for Abel, and I suppose that's all that she needs, I believe. You've already handled the other thing, of course. We don't need to go over that by any means. And it'd probably be important to rescue them because they said that they were very important and held up some, what do they call it? The witch hunter thing, the eye of the Emperor.
The Inquisition?
Yes. They're apparently part of that. And then they took 2 of ours and they went off to that, but I feel like they're just going to get themselves killed.
It's possible.
Do you have anything to add?
No, I have nothing in particular to add to this.
Well, in that case, if you need to try and figure out some more, maybe the Psyker can actually give you some information, although it'll take a bit of time. Regardless, I think that they might just end up dying if you don't go there now. It's your choice, of course. Maybe you don't want to deal with them. I don't mind either way. But there's nothing more I can do for you, my dear, dear son. So, please, go and earn your way.
I will do, mother.
So, as we see these 3 intrepid, I hesitate to say heroes, we'll go with agents for now. You have to earn the rank of hero, especially on this planet.
Yeah.
Why don't we loosely describe ourselves, and then we'll get into the very loose ideas of the system for Imperium Maledictum. Jack was pointed at instead of indicated to. Go on.
Okay, gotcha. Jacques Duran has, his hair is long and elaborate, mostly black, and like the braided parts are like white. He's not very tall at all. He's only 5 foot, very skinny, weighs nothing. He's like 100 pounds. The 2 distinguishing features that he does have is that he has like piercing, mesmerizing blue eyes, and his teeth are filed to points. It looks like when he smiles, he looks like a shark.
Do.
And what particular brand of class and home planet are you in faction?
The faction is Ficius Medicae. Penumbra is my role. What else?
You're from a.
Oh, I'm from a hive world.
There we go. Yeah. All right.
Okay. So I am playing Azazel. Azazel is Voidborn. He is from the Adaptus Ministorum. His role is a zealot. He looks to be in his late 20s with dead gray eyes. He has auburn colored hair that goes past his shoulders, and if wasn't tied into a ponytail, would very much look like a mohawk if he cared enough to spike it up, which he does not. He's about 6 feet tall, 185 pounds, and one of his distinguishing features is he has numerous cranial plugs jutting from his scalp.
And worm.
Steel worm is 4.5 feet tall, square shaped, basically. Very muscular. He looks like he was hit by lightning. He has a bunch of hair, so it kind of spikes out all over the place. He's got a long beard that is also equally spiky because of that. He's from Astro Telepathic, feudal world mystic.
All right. Now, one of the main conceits for Imperium Maledictum is the concept of within combat, player characters theoretically can get superiority dice that they can expend to get degrees of success on their tests. Like most other D100 systems in the 40K vein, you need to try and get degrees of success on your tests, and you can use superiority dice to generate these things. But you also need to do them essentially going through an adventure helps generate them for combats. So we're kind of going to go quickly into it rather than waiting for a whole adventure because that's what I want to try to do. So you know very loosely what the threat is. A Jackalo is on the loose. It is theoretically involved with a nopal plant. There are 3 individuals that have gone off to some small fort somewhere that is not in the same location as a rogue psyker, though the rogue psyker doesn't seem to bother anybody. They just live in a cave. And you theoretically on a time limit of sorts to go and hopefully stop these people from getting themselves killed, and then retrieve and deal with said situation in lieu of getting a hold of the fortress for Abel Kell, the Lord Commissar, who generally requests you go get them some kind of strongholding on whatever planet you visit during whatever mission you're in, because that's just, that's what they want. That's what they want you to do, and then also deal with whatever situation. So, in lieu of that, we're going to talk about skills, because we're hopefully going to generate superiority dice based off successes on tests or not. It's not the end of the world. There isn't negative superiority, so failing these aren't going to hurt you. So, because Steel Worm is from this planet, I will be giving you a +10 situational bonus to any kind of lore test or something like that, because they're from here. Otherwise, these tests are challenging. So what kind of information do you want to try and figure out? Now, superiority falls under 3 categories generally. One of them is know thy foe. Knowing what you're going to fight is important. One of them is know thy battlefield. Knowing where you're going is important. And the third one is generally whatever miscellaneous plan the players come up with. And if I think it's at least entertaining in some way, I should give you a superiority dice. Entertaining, of course, means that it may go bad and therefore put you in more danger rather than I think it's funny. So, Steelworm, what kind of thing would you like to try to do in relation to this situation?
I suppose inform everyone about the layout of the area.
Okay.
What's not thinking to run across.
All right. So that is probably related to either a navigation test, getting to the place, getting a lay of the land, so like a navigate surface, or even a lore planet for like, oh yeah, I know this fortress, it's blah, blah, blah. So in relation to either of those skills, which I don't know if you have or not.
I mean, only advances on that, but
Have them. Okay. You can roll either of those. You get a +10 because you're from here. And I always feel like having a home planet advantage is fair.
oh, cool. 26. That's enough.
All right. So we're not going to worry about degrees of success in this case because I'm just going to see if I'm giving you a superiority. So you did succeed. You do know where the fortress is. It's not going to take you a lot of time to get there. So you should be able to get there at least while the 3 people are there and hopefully before they die. One thing you do recall is a nopal plant is a very specific kind of massive flora. The nopal plant is a large xenoflora. People generally will train like sword fighting against them because of their incredibly resistant barky skin. But if they get too large, they start developing a toxic sap. You're not entirely certain whether they have some kind of consciousness, but the things do eat. And jackalos tend to live inside of them in some kind of symbiotic relationship. Their fur is naturally resistant to like the oils. Think of it a bit like poison oak, only it will kill you rather than irritate you. You do know that if it's large enough to be concerned with, it's probably at least overgrown part of the fortress, if not the whole dang thing. which means you'll have to figure out a way to deal with the Nopal plant if this place is going to be of any use to Abel, but also if you need to get at the Jackalo, who tends to live towards the center of the plant, or the heart of it. Like an artichoke, I guess. But Nopal plants have a thick, resistant vines, more or less. So, Azazel.
Zazel.
Azazel. What are you trying to learn about?
I think I want to say he did the navigation, the geography, basically. I think I want to know the foe.
Okay. That is a lore animal or plant. You will be rolling at a +0 because you're not from here.
Okie dokie. I failed by 1.
Okay, so marginal failure, and that's totally okay. Marginal failures are a thing in this system. You can indeed get a 0 degrees of success or 0 degrees of failure. It's not like Dark Heresy 2nd edition where you get 1 just for succeeding. So marginal failure, you feel like you've heard of Jackalos before. There's supposed to be some kind of like a lepus, something about them. You remember hearing like there's supposed to be like, there's always been this like story about some group of errant, wayward Astartes that got themselves murdered by a Jackalo or something. You're not entirely certain about it. They were sieging a castle or something, or looking for a sword, and a Jackalo murdered them all, and it was like a demon Jackalo or something. You're not entirely sure. You know that they're dangerous.
Yeah. Azazel's got a disconcerting look on his face, like, he's about ready to face some great peril, and trepidation is obvious. And he says, "Oh, that could not be.
Yes.
This Jackalo.
A mighty foe.
So the saying goes, there is a tale of great Astartes fighting and dying from this creature. Truly horrific if even Astartes are laid low.
Is not to be taken lightly.
I have yet to find a foe that I cannot blast the head off of, so.
I suppose
Wish you luck, my friend.
we definitely could use your steel."
All right, Jack, what are you interested in trying to figure out to do in relation to this upcoming event?
Probably the best way to approach this castle.
All right. We'll presume that you have been navigating your way there up until now, just standing there trying to figure things out. So, yeah, you arrive at this castle. It is indeed, you can see vines kind of like over creeping the top of it. It is surrounded by a moat and a river. It has a drawbridge over the river, over a long chasm. And yeah. You do not see anybody there, visibly. Whoever is theoretically there, possibly getting themselves killed, is already inside. So you can, how do you think you want to try and go about figuring it out? Are you just looking and trying to gauge, or what? What are we talking here?
I think Jacques would be trying to figure out the best way probably to get to like the roof area.
Okay, all right. That definitely fall under awareness sight.
Awareness sight. So that'd be all right. Fail. It's over if it's a fail, right? You roll over the number?
You want to roll under.
Yeah, my perception is 33. I rolled a 46.
Okay. Flipping it with a fate point wouldn't get you anywhere. No. Advantage is before a roll. Would you like to spend a fate point to re-roll?
Sure. I have 3, so why
That's
not?
true. You do have 3.
I'll try different dice. 26. That's much better.
All right. 26.
Meg.
The drawbridge is probably more or less a trap that the plan may use. You go over a drawbridge, or like maybe there's a vine that trips somebody up and it like grabs them or whatever. Do you think that you might see some kind of carrion on the underbridge because vines have grown under it? Getting into like over the wall, there does seem to be a way of like Assassin's Creed level, like, oh, I can see the footholds right here. And there's not even like a lot of plants growing that way. They're all, the way the vines grow, like,
Yeah.
why did you grow in this particular way, vines? I don't understand. But that's just how they've grown. And there happens to be an Ubisoft level pathway up this wall. Now, don't get me wrong. You have to get to that point of the wall, which it is indeed surrounded by a moat. So that's fine, as long as you can figure that out. Maybe somebody has a grappling line. I assume Word does.
Someone has to have a grappling line.
Leonodas can't make a character without getting a grappling line.
Listen,
if
it's the
it works,
best item in the game.
All right.
if it works, guys. I mean,
Well, there's no worry there. I got my own grappling line.
So are we saying Azazel? Sorry, I'm gonna mess this up real bad.
Azazel.
Azazel. Okay, so it sounds like Woody Allen. Kind of in my head. I don't know why it sounds like Woody Allen would be saying Azazel, but I guess that's how I need to think about it. I wasn't going to say wrong. Azazel. It's like spice. Azazel. Give me the Azazel.
I could see it. Yeah, just sprinkle some Azazel in it.
Sorry about that.
Just a little bit.
Azazel. Just a little.
Azazel.
Azazel.
All right.
Bam!
All right. So is Azazel the only one without a grapnel line?
No, because I also have a grappling line.
All right. That's great.
Listen, I learned my lesson after the first 6 times Leonidas always solved a problem with a fucking grappling hook.
Time where it was like, I forgot that you had a grapnel line.
It's not just one campaign. He's succeeded with a grappling hook.
So yeah, like I said, reasonably approaching on the drawbridge may prove dangerous. Let's see here. How tall do I think that is this wall? We'll say 30 meters. Why not? So based on Pythagorean's theorem, you have to be about here on the drawbridge to shoot grapnel lines. It's a chasm this way. It's like a fortress on a small like crag.
Yeah.
Yeah, crag. So yeah, you will need to approach on the drawbridge, but maybe as long as you're this far back, the plant won't attack you.
I recommend that we at least stealth up to the
Reasonable.
the area of the drawbridge where we have to shoot.
You, of course, can roll your stealth.
Okie dokie. As a stealth. Look at that.
Yeah, it should be
Oh, wow. I rolled a 1.
nice. That's very good.
Yeah, that's at over 3 degrees of success.
Yeah, so it definitely be stealth move silently. Assume the penumbra probably has that in spades.
Surprisingly, he sucks at it.
I have 2 advances in it, so.
Oh yeah,
Only?
this thing doesn't.
Is it only?
All right, let's see how we're actually get something. I rolled a 20, dear listeners. It actually gets exactly what it rolled. So it has no degrees of success.
I rolled a 41 out of 45.
41 out of 45. So you also have no degrees of success, but your units of 1 are better. So okay, it's slightly better than what the plant rolled. What did you roll?
I got 3 degrees of success.
All right, and the worm.
I failed.
All right, how badly was this fail?
1 degree of failure.
All right. So as you approach on the bridge, you know you're creeping up. Worm doesn't notice it. Like you guys step over it. Worm doesn't notice it. He steps on one of the nopal vines, and this thing tries to grab him. All right, let me see what its attack is. It's gonna try and grab you. It's got a pretty good. All right, so it got 3 degrees of success on this attack. Now melee attacks are resisted with melee or reflexes. Your reflexes not particularly good.
They're really close, actually.
Now, I will say ranged dodging is different in that you need to expend a reaction to use the reflex dodge skill. It's not an automatic thing like it is in earlier editions of D100 games.
No dice.
All right, so this thing has attempted to damage you. It's not grappling you. It's gonna try and like paralyze you with the venom. All right, it has attempted to grab you, damage you. So I'm going to roll its damage. Oh goodness. Well, we're lucky that tins don't explode.
Bum, 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 bum.
Oh, what is the I'm not gonna worry about hit location because it attempted to grab your leg because you stepped on it.
Yeah.
What is the armor on your leg, including toughness?
4.
4. All right, you possibly take 12 damage.
We.
Or no, you do take 12 damage.
Ooh-wee.
Wounds are gained by damage. Each time you suffer a point of damage, you gain 1 wounds. You took 12 points of damage, so you take 12 wounds. How is that in relation to your maximum wounds?
At 14.
Currently, or
My max is 14.
okay, all right. We'll keep that in mind. You need to roll a fortitude poison.
I succeed.
All right, good. You feel this toxic sap burning into this grappled wound that is like vice gripped on your leg. You know how nopal plants work. They try and grab you, poison you, subdue you, and then they drag you closer to the heart of the thing and let digest you essentially. So you have resisted this poison. It has nearly cracked your leg in two. You hear behind you guys this near snapping noise as Worm is being attacked by this plant.
So, yeah, I think Azazel realizes that the jig is up before it's even started. So I think what he would like to do, if he is able, is to pull out his trusty chainsword, start revving it, and aim to remove the vine from Frendo's leg.
Reasonable. Yes. Okay. You do not need to make a test yet to fall unconscious. That happens if you take more damage. You want to attack this vine in a specific area rather than just like generally speaking. But you want to remove it from there.
I'm looking for like where the base is. That way I don't risk cutting his leg off with a chainsaw.
Oh yeah, I totally understand that. That's perfectly reasonable. I just want to make sure there isn't. Yeah, target location. We'll call it a target location.
Okay.
If you want to specifically do a thing. And there's not like a rend or anything like that. Although I think one of the tricks.
I do, in fact, have friend
There you
too.
go. You can make an attack at disadvantage. If you hit, you may choose the hit location at the GM's discretion. You use this to ignore armor. So I will say, if you hit this, we'll just say it gets cut.
Okay.
I'm not going to deal with breaking damage or anything like that.
Okay. And what was the? Is there any minuses?
No, it is at disadvantage. So you will reverse the numbers to the worst result. So roll up.
Okay. So I rolled a 36. If it's at disadvantage, I
It will
basically
become
rolled a 60.
63.
Okay, so that means I will fail with that one.
Okay.
Mm.
You wish to expend a fate point.
I think under the circumstances, it would be a good idea if I did.
Okay. Do you wish to expend another fate point to roll at neutral? Or do you, so let me rephrase. You can expend a fate point before you roll to roll at advantage.
Okay.
Unless you want to specifically target again, you could expend a fate point and neutral it out. Or if you're just attacking, you can hope to reasonably not
Mm.
critically fail and attack. Attack work.
I think I'm just going to go for the reroll.
Completely understandable. So are you targeting specifically? Like,
I mean, I guess I am doing that again.
okay. And then we're not spending another one to.
That was correct.
All right, good. I just wanted to make sure we understood where we're at.
All right. 54. That's 4 point.
Or yeah.
Yeah, it would be 4 points of failure. I rolled a 45.
Yeah. I got you there.
The magic number for actually, hold on a second. I forgot. My test is a 54. So I rolled a 54.
Okay.
I got it.
You have success, which is totally fine. I'm gonna say it's enough. Let me know the damage.
Okay. So the damage is 6.
Okay.
If it has any type of armor, I have Rend 2.
What does Renda do?
Okay. Let me find that because I don't. Wait. All right. Well, combat notes. I'm going to put it in there going forward.
Probably reasonable place to have it.
Look at me. Look at this guy. Unprepared, huh?
Hey, I can't master your characters for you guys.
Rend is dealt one or more wounds as well as the outward nosed armor on the location. Is reduced by the Rend rating. Basically, it drops the armor by the Rend amount.
Okay.
Simplified.
All right.
If it's dropped to 0, it destroys the armor type.
So you do cut it. You can tell that this thing, this far out from the plant, even this feels rubbery to cut to. You get worm out of it, but you know how much damage are you doing? What is the damage of a chainsword?
6.
That's including your tough strength bonus?
No, it's not.
It's a melee weapon. You definitely add your strength
Yeah,
bonus.
sorry. It didn't say that in the character sheet. So I just went with what was. Give me 1 second, please.
Okay. This is very low. Either you have 2 strength or your chainsword's got nerfed pretty hard.
No, in total, I did 9 points of damage.
Okay. You can tell that this went through well, but whatever this thing is, it's going to need some heavy duty cutting to get through. Because you know that as soon as you get closer, this thing's going to be even tougher. People train swords against these. They quit doing it because once they get old enough, the stuff starts spewing sap whenever you hit.
Yeah. One other point of order.
Sure.
My chainsword is also loud, so it is making noise.
I mean,
If
It
the
makes
jig
sense.
wasn't
It's a
up, it is
chainsword.
now.
you never hear in the echoey noise of the crag, the whirring roar of a chainsword come bark to life.
Yeah, no, after I cut the limb bit off of Steel Worm, I go over to him, grab him by his arm, and I'm like, well, Worm, are you all right?
I'm fine.
He is not. You can see his leg. There's not. It's not. You can already see it purple.
I'm going to turn to Jack.
Poison is nothing.
The poison's nothing. It's just the wound itself is.
I think I say something very priestly along the lines of like, Worm, you must steel yourself.
That's the plan.
Okay. I will say that with this comedy of errors starting out, you do get to the point where you can use a grapple lines to get to the top of the castle.
But before that, Jack just like lets out an exhale. Like, merde. Already. You got turrets already.
If you've decided to be sneaky, I am not sneaky. I am Iron Worm. I am Bureau of Lamplight.
I am more.
Good, I am Worm.
All right. We
Not
still-
sneaky man.
They may fix your leg.
Thank you very much.
You want me to try and set up the line?
Sure, go ahead. I need to try to fix his leg.
While he's doing that, I guess I'm shooting then.
It's a ranged pistols test.
Yeah.
Just roll this Medicaid.
You can. It's a ranged pistols test, so you're allowed to aim.
I mean, I did get it. So
Did get it?
I did get it. Yeah.
Okay, so you're totally fine. Yeah, you shoot it up there. It'll be simple enough to you shoot it there. The vines aren't going to interfere with you climbing up a rope. You can take as much time as you need, reasonably speaking. I don't think you're taking all day.
Would that be considered a critical wound?
No,
Oh.
critical wound is different.
Okay.
When you get a critical wound, I'll let you know.
Okay, well, I rolled a 19 and my total is 49. But I don't know if like having a surgeon kit gives me a bonus to that
That is the
49.
thing you reasonably should know.
Yeah, if I did, I didn't write it
It's
down.
gear that you have. Again, I can't be masters of all of your characters, otherwise I'd be doing this on my own.
The role of 3 characters will now be played
So-
by the Curio Chamlan.
Yeah. Once per day, you can heal naturally. An ally with at least 1 advanced in Medicaid skill can make a routine plus 20 Medicaid test to treat your wounds. During combat, or not in combat, if successful, you heal wounds equal to your success level. So what is your success level? The 10s digit. Remember that your total skill is
10s
plus
digit.
20.
Plus 20? Okay. So that's 5 degrees of success.
5 success levels. Same difference, but technical term. Plus your ally's intelligence bonus. So 5 plus your int bonus. 10s digit.
It's 3.
So 8. He did not fail. So you do heal 8 wounds of the 12 that you took.
Nice. Looks like I have the line set up for us.
He has indeed set up the line. You take your time climbing up. It's murder on you because climbing up a grapple line requires your legs to. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts.
I gave him some painkillers. Give me that morphine.
Yeah, that's what we need. Painkillers.
Let's give the psycher.
Chasm.
So let's give the psycher feel-good medication. What's the worst that could happen?
That's fine.
Where's the inhibition?
They give psychers pain medications all the time in towers.
Inhibitions. Who needs those?
All right, so we get to the top of the tower. So you get to the top of the fortress, and you see essentially what amounts to essentially this. Once you're past the main wall, there is an inner wall area, and then a wide court field. And you see in that court field what is amounted to the heart of this thing. It is a large center. I'm going to remove the castle walls now because I just wanted to set these, but there's only so much we can do.
That's fine.
All right. What you do see in the center of this courtyard is a large, surrounded by vines that I didn't draw because I didn't feel like it, is essentially a heart to this thing. It's kind of got vines growing around it. It's got an armored cage, essentially. You are roughly 30 meters up and you see into this thing. So you do see what seems to be 3 people who are well over in their head. Two young, strapping heroes. At least they probably would like to call themselves heroes, but you can obviously tell they're pretty young at the game. I mean, you're pretty old at the game and you're not even a hero. And somebody who this far away doesn't particularly give off any vibe other than they seem to think that they're in charge. They're directing these 2 to cut away at these vines, things like that. They look to have a feminine figure. They look relatively young, about as young as Jack or so. They have cropped purple hair. You can't see their face, so you can't get really more than that. They're directing these young conscripts, more or less, to cut away at the vines, get at the heart of the beast. We'll get this psyker yet. That kind of a vibe. They seem to think that they're in charge of a situation, but you can tell that something is stirring in the heart of the cage as you see a white blur shoot out of the heart of the cage onto one of these young heroes as it violently starts ripping at their throat, screaming in agony. They're very nearly dead.
I'm not.
You see this?
This is very badly hurt.
You see this white blur launch themselves out of the heart of this Notel cage and just grapple onto this poor young fool, and just like you see a spurt of jugular blood as it's just like you can't tell what it's trying to do other than like bring itself into the torso of this thing, kill it. And that Worm well knows is in fact a Jackalo.
There it is. You see how twice the burrow, won't we?
It is indeed a scrawny lepus, about the size of a grot, if you know how big a grot is, a small dog.
Bigger rabbit.
And has launched itself. Oh, wait. Yeah, it has swift attack. I forgot about that.
Never mind.
Okay, yeah. Or it has the equivalent of, it can do 2, essentially. It's launched itself to Greta, and this, you see you hear the bite, or bisection? Is it bisection? What's for decapitate? You hear the decapitation
Yeah.
before you hear the severing before anything else. This distinct sharp crack that is only possible in this fortress that is surrounded by silence everywhere else. There's a sharp scream and the body drops, and you see this white furious little thing just like scream up in the air as it might be the sound of the dam.
Just kind of an abstract look of terror on my face.
Yeah. It's pretty terrifying.
Dead eyes, no longer dead.
You do not feel the you don't feel the presence of the warp. But yeah, that is what has happened. Let us worry about initiative. I need to make sure that you're not adding a D10 to it. I cannot recall. I don't think so.
It's your perception bonus plus your agility bonus.
Perception plus agility.
Same initiative. So yes, it is just a straight number. Okay. Worm, what is your initiative? 6. Azazel.
You did it.
What
6.
is- okay. Dak.
Guess what? It's a 6.
6.
Okay. Let me see what the rest of them are.
My God, we are blessed or cursed.
I need to see
Something.
initiative. Come on. Their initiative is also 6.
My initiative is 47.
Oh, okay. Initiative is 7. That's good. Somebody's different.
We are all Zool.
6. So here's how it's going to go. It'll be the person that thinks that they're in charge first. Worm second because they know what Jackalo is. Jack third because Azazel described themselves in utter terror, but this other peasant who has got themselves far beyond their means is less than you because they just got covered in the arterial spray of their theoretical friend.
I'm from a pretty tame world. This shit's crazy.
Okay, so the person who thinks they're in charge screams at the other person to attack this foul creature of the war, and they will attempt to attack it in melee. Which is probably not the best idea, but that's just what they're going to do because they've shot them all. Can't do. Guys, just for future reference as well, you do add your success level to damage. I did not do that myself. It is like adding a degree to success. I just didn't think about it. They completely flobbed this roll. They try and hit this small, scrawny creature, and they do not. They didn't critically fail, so I'm not going to say they spray up sap or anything, but they mess up. So Worm, how you doing? What's up?
Worm is when you steal skin. Worm succeeds. Alright, so
What does that do?
I get to add 4 to my armor everywhere.
Alright.
Not my toughness to my armor, but it does make me go slower.
Is that all you're doing? You can do an action and movement. For right now, I don't know if your psychic power uses all of your stuff.
I lose my action. Now I don't need to move out from here until I do my other power, so that'll be it for me right now.
All right. From you, Jacques.
I don't take aim with my long last.
So you're aiming, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, is that a plus 10, right?
Yes. Aiming is essentially half an act. You essentially will aim and then attack, and then that's
Yeah. So it's a plus 10. So that makes it a. Let's see what I get. That is a no.
all right. How bad is your now?
2 degrees of failure. Over 84 out of 66.
You did not critically fail. Azazel.
Okay. Think I'm gonna get out my trusty hand flamer and torch the bunny. Okay. So the range is short, so I move up close enough where I'm within short range, whatever that nebulous number is, and I'm going to fire my hand flamer at it. That is a negatory.
How much is your negatory?
I roll. Okay, hold on a second. 2 degrees of failure.
All right. If you are firing a weapon, remember to expend ammunition.
Got it.
So you attempted to fire and you failed.
I did, yes.
Okay. Didn't critically fail, so I'm not going to say you set anything on fire. From there, it will be the surviving person who will probably die. You
got this, rando.
Well, you're also supposed to feasibly save these people. Out there.
I mean,
It is the complication that was rolled for the combat is that other people are here that might be useful to keep alive.
Not killing him. We just haven't succeeded in helping him.
I know.
We're trying poorly.
I will at least say that they have a beating stick because they naturally only have unarmed attacks.
Oh boy.
They do not hit it. They try to grab at the creature and fail. They don't critically fail, so I'm not going to say they fall into the vines or anything. Oh yeah, I didn't check the creatures. I didn't note the enemy's initiatives. Maybe. Which is it again? It's perception plus.
it's your agility bonus plus your perception bonus.
All right. Well, I will say that the creature, who does have initiative of 8 because it's fast, notices 2 people try and smash it, and it jumps back. They're going to get his knights of opportunity. Fail. Hey, look at that. The exact same roll. So it's still no. They jump back into the heart of the snapel plant, and for the moment, it seems to be subdued, probably raring for another attack. The plant creature notices that things have started happening around it, so it's just reacting based on whatever it reacts on. Which group feasibly will try to attack? Let us see here. Evens, bottom, odds, top. Evens it is. All right. It is going to attempt to attack one of these two poor schmucks. Evens, rando, odds, the important looking person. Oh, it's happened. All right. Let's see if this rando person can not die.
I believe in the rando.
All right, yeah, it misses. It doesn't have fate, so I can't do anything with it. So yeah, it starts to seemingly try and start wrapping itself up this person, but they sidestep it, and yeah. So at this point, we are back up to them. They're gonna try and fire at the heart of this artichoke-looking thing, and see if that works. I don't know if they have a weapon that can feasibly get through this, but we're gonna look and see.
Just off like a thought of a demon artichoke. Just
We love it here.
eat your
Well,
veggies. No!
Yeah, they shoot into it, but it doesn't seem to do anything. They're just using a stub pistol, so it's not any penetrating ammo or anything. So that's them. Worm, it is on you. The other people didn't seem to clock that something was happening above them. They were just in the middle of having somebody die.
Cast Fire Emblem.
Oh,
Roll and spend effect point. Reroll that.
no? Oh, the doubles?
It wasn't doubles.
Damn.
It was a 98.
Oh,
Woohoo! Oh boy.
This is an easy test too. Rolled a plus 40.
you can still fail plus 40.
Yeah. Still. Yeah.
It's Worm's turn. You cast it. Did you succeed?
Yeah.
All right. Is that it?
Yep.
Okay. Shock, what are you doing?
He's gonna attack that thing.
Well, first, Jock, before he does anything, is going to yell down. Hello, monsieurs. You might want to run before you be caught on flames.
I do believe that you meant to say a flame.
Whatever. Fire at long last.
Right. Shoot. Wait, you were shooting the artichoke?
Yeah, I was shooting the artichoke.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. The beast has moves. Back here.
So that is going to be success. That's going to be
This thing can't dodge in any particular capacity. It begs on you missing
8 points of damage.
8 points of damage. You shoot this cage thing, and you can tell that whatever resistant bark this thing has grown, it did not care about the shot.
My weapon does have penetrating 1. Does that
Be
matter?
useful
Okay.
to tell me.
Sorry.
This fucking.
I'm learning.
I know.
Ignore me. Ignore me.
Okay. What does penetrating do? Ignore them all. Okay. It does burn into it, but it doesn't seem to burn through it.
Okay.
It is made of sterner stuff. All right, that is Jacques. And the random person, they looked up. Are they willing to abandon this in terms of honor? They haven't hit their resolve level yet in terms of like damage that they will take.
Yeah.
I need to see if they take hearts and don't run because they just saw somebody die. They do not take hearts. They in fact do not want to die. They decide to leave the situation. So let's see here. Their movement is normal when you check. It's not meters in this. Yeah, their speed is normal. So they take the run action. And they start leaving. They go into the internal wall and start exiting. So they've exited their zone and are moving out.
There you go. Light them up.
There's still a person down there.
Is that the one with the purple hair?
Yes, their turn hasn't come around yet.
Oh, I thought that was like for both of them. Never mind.
I mean, you did call to them, but their initiative is not the same.
Yeah. Gotcha.
You know? As I say,
Is there a way for me to delay an action so that I can wait for this person to theoretically get out of the zones and then fire?
pretty sure you can do Overwatch. You can. You could do Overwatch, and I don't see why there couldn't be the opposite of season initiative and just change your initiative to where you want to be.
Hey, it's our game, my rules.
So yeah, you could say once this person leaves, I try to launch my flamer. You could just say I'm going to change my initiative to be after the person with short hair.
Yeah, so basically what I want to do is I want to be able to get an aim out, but if I can just delay action or delay turn so the person's
So you want to set up your turn.
yes,
So you want to Overwatch.
basically.
What's the trigger?
Trigger is when the purple-haired maiden leaves the zone. I'm going to go for the big plant.
Yeah, they
Does
just.
Overwatch do anything to add bonuses, or is it more or less just I fire when this happens?
I believe this fire when that happens.
You can shoot. If you have the ultimate fire mode, I think you could. Yeah, it just lets you shoot out of order.
Okay.
Yeah. I forgot there's a lot of stuff from the old. Dear listeners, we've essentially played every single D100 game that exists, so we will bleed rules in that cave. And Imperium Maledictum has definitely kind of nerfed things down in terms of level power, which is nice. But also, I do think AIM should at least confer some kind of bonus, at least a plus
Advantage would be
5.
nice.
Well, advantage could be potent.
Just-
It's more useful than it isn't. Yeah, probably like a plus 5 at least, right? Something. We're just
Oh,
gonna
no.
say it's at least worth a plus 5. Plus 10 is a lot, essentially a success level.
What is your turn though?
That's true. Either way, I need to see if she dies. This is going to be close in terms of the Jackalo's ability. Okay, let me see the rules for charge with advantage. Okay, with advantages, it does succeed, and they have disadvantage on their reflexes melee to defend themselves. The other person would have failed anyways. They rolled a 77, so they fail regardless.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Jeez.
So let's see.
Do they have fate points?
No, they're not special.
Can we spend fate points for them?
No.
Oh well.
You could burn a fate point for them, but I don't think you find it that important. Okay, so this isn't that bad. This isn't that bad, guys. This isn't that bad. They only roll. 12 damage.
Only.
Why are we here again? Because you able once a fortification, and this is the only one that was nearby that somebody was willing to give out after you cleared out the rodent in the plant.
Just like 12 damage would just down me.
Well, no, it's gotta get past your honor. This,
Yeah, I mean,
this
it
is
is
the
a little
damage. I
something.
gotta see how many wounds.
You still have a
you
toughness bonus.
Huh?
Toughness bonus.
No, I still don't have any armor.
Cool.
What do
You still have a
mean?
toughness
You don't have a
bonus.
hardened body glove? An armored body gloves?
That
Something like that?
I mean, I wrote down everything I was supposed to have, and I didn't write down any armor.
Okay. You should have some kind of armor.
Am I the only one packing heat here?
I thought I literally wrote down everything that my character was supposed to have,
Hey, I don't
and there was
disagree
no
with you.
armor.
I don't disagree with
Wow.
I'm a squishy medic.
I wish you all the best.
That's also a sniper
you.
assassin.
Okay, so
Start with money.
Yes, money. Money solves all problems.
do start with money.
I mean, I've got money. Sorry.
What's that? The priest is the best kitted one here? Shocker.
Not really.
I mean, I have armor.
Yeah.
I thought you were not
Okay,
that was good.
So this thing does attack them. It charges them like a bull. They nearly get pushed back. You can tell that they like take the hit. It grabs at them and like chews into their shoulder. They're wearing armor. And it does seem to do something for them. You can just see some blood coming down their shoulder. And this thing is on them. It is their turn. So they heard you call out, hey, move if you don't want to get lit on fire. They turn up. And in the same, what would you call the people of Baguette? Baggies or something? What would you say that they are?
Baguettians?
Baguettians?
I don't know.
Okay.
So no.
No.
It's fine. It's been
let's
it's
see.
again now. Nope, we're too late. Baguettians. Baguetti.
Baggies? I don't know.
No, that's worse.
I mean, a Burgundian is a Burgundian, and
No,
a
we're going-
Baguettian is that would be still be a Baguettian.
We're going with
unfortunately.
Baguettian, which definitely sounds like some kind of faux spaghetti dish.
I was about to say I have a hankering for some Baguettian.
Baguettian? It's the new microwave craze.
Brought to you by Stofers.
Chef Boyardee. Baguettians.
Careful, Joe. You're delicious.
So this woman looks up, and as she calls out to you in the same Baguettian accent, you see her teeth are also filed. Mademoiselle, you fool, and I do not shirk away from the duties of the Inquisition.
All right.
As she will attempt to beat this creature off of her with a shock maul. Let's hope she doesn't crit herself into unconsciousness. She does actually manage to hit it quite well. I should have kept that set locked open is what I should have done. But hey, what can you do? All right, she attempts to hit it. She does indeed hit it. We don't need you to do the impression of the Jackalo. So she does hit it. She does that much. You can tell
hiccups.
what a terrible night to have curse. She does hit it. You can tell that she beats this thing silly. You hear the loud of a stun field going off. This creature has to resist being stunned. So let's see how that goes. Fortitude pain, which it doesn't have, so it's more or less just rolling off of its toughness. And okay, let's see if it resists the possibility of being stunned. It does indeed resist being stunned. Surprising. But you can tell that it hits it. This creature does in fact squeal. If it squeals, you can kill it. Probably.
If it bleeds, it can be.
But she is not leaving, so the Overwatch does not trigger. She didn't shirk away in her duties to the Inquisition.
Yeah. Can't fault her for being dedicated.
Oh,
Can't fault her for being a fool, though.
that's true. She was very foolish. It is indeed a worm's turn. as you set up your buffs.
Well,
You continue to set up your buffs.
I'll get down there.
Okay.
Just at
So,
the top of the castle, just flexing. I give you my power.
doing Church of the Swole again, guys. We had an entire multiple years of this.
I have no idea what
doing
you're
it
talking
again.
about.
The Church of Soul shall persist.
We're not doing it again. Different sector. Anyway, so the way the movement works, what's the movement work? That's a custodian. Speed? Should be.
Got it in the sheet.
For which one?
Speed.
I don't see it either. I guess we're just assuming that it's normal until some equipment changes it, which is still a poor way to do that.
Speed is 1 less than normal.
It is.
My iron skin makes me slow.
But you
My
move
strength is
slow.
higher.
So slow movement and Imperium Maledictum you move through zones. It's not meter based. Slow, you must use your move to move within your current zone. You can use a run action to move to an adjacent zone. Normally you'd be able to go to an adjacent zone with a move action. So you basically have to use your entire turn to move to an adjacent zone. Now between you and her is essentially this, and unless you want to jump, which I'm not suggesting you do per se.
30 meters, I would hope that would not be a thing you want to do.
Oh, no, I'm not gonna assume.
That's what's the rules on fall damage.
Egregious.
We'll look at it in a second after I explain what it is.
Yeah.
There is an inlet into the castle walls. It's essentially like this zone, that zone, that zone is what I've said. Now for falling damage, let's take a look. When you fall, you are knocked prone. A fall up to your own height in meters has no additional effect. If you fall further than this, you take a critical hit. Yeah, you don't want.
No.
All right. You don't.
Sure.
I guarantee you don't want critical hits or this turn of moving and then next turn.
They charge it to another zone.
Charging in, you'd have to have something to attack.
Well, she's in the zones. The rabbit's in the zone, right?
Yes, but there's not a direct line unless you jump.
Oh, okay. It has to be in a straight line.
Yeah, it's not. It's not in fact either where you can. I guess he charged across the field as well in a straight line.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a straight line down.
You know what? If you want to make an athletics test at some kind of penalty, I will let you jump onto and try to suplex this rabbit on her. If you fail, you will take falling damage and possibly also crush her and maybe the rabbit. Listeners, he is contemplating. All right.
He's using a fate point. Let's go.
All right. To get advantage on the roll, I'm assuming.
Yes.
All right.
No guts, no glory.
This will be and athletics. I guess it'd be athletics jumping, not that you have that particular specialty. So it'll be an athletics.
Surprisingly, I do.
I will call it difficult, which is a -10. It is an athletics test -10, unless you have the specialty jumping.
I don't have.
All right, so that's all right.
Certainly don't have falling.
Yeah.
That's something mine are. Advantage, you put it at 43. So 34 is the better of the two options.
So 34. Now, what you can do is after a test, one of the uses of fate points is add one success level to a test after a roll.
Oh, okay. That'll do then.
So you're at how many degrees of success or failure?
0.
Okay, what's your skill? I just want to know what's your skill.
It's, my athletics is 35.
Okay, that's 25. So you'd be at 1 degree of failure right now.
Oh, wait. Sorry.
Okay.
Silly. Mine's actually currently at 45.
Okay,
My power put it at a 45.
okay. So you do succeed.
I do.
Okay, well that's different. All
My
right.
bad.
Oh, that's fine.
I forgot about my.
I am going to say that okay, so you fall into them, you fall onto the rabbit, you're essentially you're crushing them. What's your strength and toughness bonus against?
My strength bonus is currently a 4,
Okay.
and my toughness is also a 4.
You know what? I'll just say that you do 8 damage to it, but you did succeed, so I'm not gonna say like, oh, you take half falling damage. You do take. You're gonna be prone. I'll say you don't take damage because you succeeded. I think that's fair. You do fall prone.
Could I roll agility to not fall prone?
No, this has been your entire turn.
One's gonna try.
Reasonable.
You just did the highest of flying elbows down
more
to squish a rabbit.
Yeah, and you do in fact destroy this rabbit. You crush the jackalo. You hear a splurt. It just you are prone. You feel the vines of the nopal plants curling around you. They haven't attacked you because it's not their turn, but they probably will have one soon.
Random wrestling crowd is
It
going
in
crazy
fact-
right now.
It is, in fact, Jacques' turn. You've seen Worm jump off of the ledge, fall onto this rabbit, not crush the woman that it was attacking, but just crush the rabbit in front of her.
He's kind of dumbfounded by it, but he's like,
She's a bit
all
dumbfounded.
right. And he takes a shot at the, okay, so are we doing the whole, Amy uses the whole turn now, right?
And at this point, I just need to see, you need to roll and see if it critically missed, but like this thing is stationary, right? It's not
Yeah, okay.
attacking you.
Well, okay, because I didn't know if we were still getting like a bonus.
No, I
or
need to
not,
see
but
if you
yeah.
get enough to
All right,
actually
all right.
hurt the thing.
Okay, got you.
Because it has a very high toughness bonus.
I rolled a 40 even
Okay.
out of 56, so 1 degree to success
All right.
with 1 penetrating.
I will say this.
So that'd be 7 damage.
At this point, you're not putting out enough. I will say that when Azazel gets back, if you light this place on fire, sure. So you should work on getting them to leave, essentially. Because your long lives, right now, is not going to be enough to kill this thing.
All right. What would I roll for?
It's too old, essentially.
Where you do have burst on your long lives.
Okay.
What does burst do?
I don't know.
I know. I need to like have these like written down on the side next time.
You use one of your ammo, and I think it'll let you roll.
When you use a weapon with the burst trait, you may choose to declare that you are firing with burst rather than your single shot. If you do so, you may add 1 success level to your range test. You must reduce your ammunition by 1. That still wouldn't have been enough to damage this thing. It's got a lot of toughness. It's old.
So this have to roll really good to hurt it.
Basically, yeah. You need to get essentially 12 damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not. Okay. So is there like a roll I can make to try to convince this person to leave so we can set this thing on fire?
I mean, some kind of social test, but at this point you've made your shot.
Okay.
The other person has continued to run out. They have exited onto the drawbridge. So Azazel, he jumped off. He crushed the rabbit, successfully not crushing the woman in turn. The plants it's writhing, but it can't like move and attack. So at this point, reasonably, you can set this place on fire and burn this thing out. But he can tell that this thing has more than enough armor to be a problem without armor piercing stuff. So if you light this place on fire, it'll kill this thing. You just got to get this woman to leave, which she does not seem intent to do currently.
All right. May I attempt a report?
Sure, if you get down there. Don't think she wants to be yelled at. She's French. She's from Baguette. The plant's French. That's not my fault. You blame Jacques.
The French love shouting from top castle walls.
Yeah,
I know.
She's not the one shouting.
She's not the one at the top though.
She's not in control, therefore it's a problem. Anyway,
Idiot. You know that their women are
they're very
impetuous.
strong-willed, very opinionated.
Strong-willed, impetuous, determined.
So
They'll bite you.
I think
Will, in fact, bite you.
They have
Well,
the teeth for it.
they got the 2 for it.
It's like the hairpin thing, but it's
I mean, are we still in? We're still in a combat situation.
not at this point. I think at this point we've moved beyond combat. Well, no, one more turn because I need to see if Warden's going to get attacked by this plant. So it's your turn in the initiative order.
Okay, so am I within range to fire in the zone? That will not compromise anybody.
No, she is in that zone with the plant.
All right, then I'm
Not a
going to
separate-
spend my turn going down there.
You can, using your full turn, you can get down to the.
Okay, I'm gonna do that then.
So yeah, so you you go down the stairs, you come out. There's like a way down here. You're out of here. This person is left. They've run out of their zone to there. This person's dead. This is the woman. There's a dead Jackalo right in front of her. Worm's down there. He jumped. All right. So yeah, so you've moved. That's all your stuff. We move to see if Worm is going to get attacked by this plant because he's prone. That's not. It might be, and I think prone gives them advantage. That's not on here. Oh, here it is. You may only crawl. Disadvantage on melee test. Attacks from immediate range have advantage. Attacks from outside immediate have disadvantage. They got just enough to grab onto you. They're going to attempt to damage you.
Try to defend against.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Melee reflexes. Absolutely. You do indeed get to turn roll out of it. I don't think that technically has disadvantage. It will attempt to crush you. So this particular one, what's your armor or toughness? Sorry, 8. Good. That's wrong. -8 is that. So possibly it is 4 wounds. And make a tough. I believe it is fortitude poison. Fast
17. That whoops.
Wait, no, you're fine. Once again, the sap does not harm you in any particular way. So you're good there. It's trying to attack you, but this whole place is filled with vines. It hasn't grappled you at least yet. So yeah, we wrap it back. The random person that was here ran because they didn't want to die. It was the plant's turn. That was them. It is now the woman's turn. Yeah. I think that she's just like, I just saw a madman jump off of a castle ledge and crush this creature. What are you doing here?
Saving you?
Nonsense. The members of the Inquisition do not need to be saved.
It seems that you did, actually.
Nonsense.
You're welcome, by the way.
I have it completely under control.
Did you?
Also, you do, in fact, now that you're close to her, feel the overwhelming nausea of untouchable.
I knew it.
Ew, what's that smell?
Way when I realized that, things are about to go up in escalation.
Being around her is the feeling of warm wool on your skin.
I'm going to immediately attempt to intercede and begin the rapport. And I guess I'm going to put my hand on Worm's shoulder in the usual way. I'd be like, I got this, buddy. Let me talk, please.
Oh, yeah.
Greetings. We are representatives of Lord Commissar Abel Kell. You might know them as the Stalker. We wish to parley and assist you if we are able. It is also worth noting that my friend up there, I point to Jock, knows a bit about what we are facing inside of this fortification. And as such, am confident that if we use this, I point to the hand flamer, we'll be able to solve the problem. Both parties benefit, the Inquisition and our retinue. Could we please be of assistance to you?
Speak so slowly. Are you done?
Rolled a 99.
All right. Well, it's good too because Abel is actually currently untrusted by the Inquisition, so it would have been worse anyways. I rolled a random thing that was in this, and it happened to be inquisitorial, and she also has a bane for reputation with the Inquisition, which is funny in a way that it worked out. But what can you do? Yeah. So on the 99, which is also a critical fail because it's doubles. You dare speak the name of such a hound? You speak so slowly. I fell asleep while you were finishing that sentence. The members of the Inquisition will not be cowed, especially not by that Lord Abel. You seek to burn it out, well, burn yourself with it.
I look up
And as for him...
Hey, don't look at me. You're the one that pissed off the mademoiselle.
You so shit.
And as for him, he should find a weapon that actually works. It seems a bit impotent for its job.
My weapon works perfectly fine, mademoiselle.
She is not interested in speaking with you, given that you critically fumbled. She moves forward to try and beat the heart of this thing to death, which is simply not going to work unless she rolls like a 1.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, she moves forward. Jacques, I think at this point, you reasonably are the only one that has a chance, unless you roll boxcars or spend a fate point.
I mean, I'll start heading down there.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a 1 for a second, but it was in fact a 90. So no, she starts just trying to beat it with a shot.
I'm gonna let this one have her day, and when I feel like she's satisfied, I'm going to torch the damn thing.
That's fine. She's going to continue to do that until she's convinced otherwise, possibly by Jacques or by Worm if he rolls well enough, or unless she's purposefully dragged away. It's one of these two, or she's forcibly removed from the situation.
Let's see. What are the rules for grappling?
I was gonna go start.
Christ. First session? Come on.
You presented the problem.
I don't know. You could have beaten her unconscious.
That might be what I do. Hide to be less fun.
Jacques, what are you thinking?
Chainsaw so you can cut through it.
To grapple, you make an athletics might or melee brawling test. It's opposed by the target's athletics might, melee brawling, or reflexes dodge. Let me make sure the
My melee is not great.
Okay, it'll only be fellowship. Yeah, okay. Are you going to attempt to grapple?
This is like I think the only I can move her is to grab her, so.
All right. Well, how about let's see what Jacques might try to do, and then if that fails, you can.
I mean,
Now John just looks at both of you. He's like, what? He's like, I'm not getting in the way of this.
Fair. You know.
Hey, I'm no Baguettian women. I'm not messing there.
I think Hazel just looks at my man Steel Worm here and just be like, "All right, I tried. Do what you do best, my friend."
All right.
All right. It is an athletics melee might or melee brawling.
What's that? A Baguettian, the man that's a coward?
Kenny and man that doesn't want to get smacked in the face with a shot.
As I said, a coward?
Well, I rolled advantage with my 33. I succeed.
Right. Let's see if she can dodge. This is where she rolls the 1. No, she most certainly, in fact, does not. And I'm not going to worry about re-rolling.
Numbers are crit rate? Or is it only?
Yes, actually they are.
Okay.
They are, in fact, crit. That's why she's like you put her into like a press lock.
Just like pick her up and start kicking her.
You do that thing where you like put your hands around the nape of the back of her neck. She's not going. And she is angry. Like you hear the anger of a Baghettian woman scorn. Then I'm assuming you take the grapple line off of the drawbridge. You get out. You guys get out. This thing's gonna take a while to burn. You at least expend probably the rest of your tank.
That's fine. I'm burning this thing out.
Would I be able to use Medicaid to like possibly collect some of the sap from the vines outside the castle that I've not burned
You
yet?
know what? Let's take a look at skills. Because I don't know if there's like a foraging thing.
Okay, so my magazine holds 2 charges.
We'll just say it uses them.
Okay. And it doesn't say I have more than one, so I'm pretty sure I'm completely out.
Yeah, there's nothing really for foraging.
Yeah, I know. I'm just making a real quick look. There might be, but I think this might be more about you can make either a fortitude poison because you don't want to get yourself poisoned, or a dexterity like sleight of hand kind of test. I think that because
Dexterity would be better for me.
that's fair. I think that's reasonable in this situation because you're being careful about getting the sample. You're not trying to like get meat out of it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a sample of
Yeah,
sap. I'm going to use a fate point to switch that around.
You can only do that before you roll. You have to
Wait,
say,
so-
I'm spending a fate point to get advantage on this coming roll.
Oh, advantage is
Or
what lets you flip
You
it?
can, yes.
Oh,
Or you
okay.
can spend a fate point to get +1 success level if that situation will get you.
Okay, well, can I go ahead and I did that since I didn't realize it was before
You
the
get
roll?
your 1. This is the
All right.
table's 1. I'm not going to give each of you a 1. Advantage must be stated before the roll.
Okay, well, instead of rolling an 81, I rolled an 18.
All right, that's fine. I wasn't going to make you get poisoned. I was just going to say there's not a good sample.
Oh,
So you do pick up a sample of the sap.
okay.
So you pick up that, you burn out that, you leave with this very angry Baghettian woman. The person who ran they kind of just like milled around by the grapple line because they didn't really know what to do because they were supposed to wait for her and now you guys are there and like it's the whole thing. So yeah, so this situation with those, you have to use a lot of flamer fuel. You got to burn it out. It's just a plant. It's not a It's just a very dangerous plant that was let to grow way too long. It was probably a training Nopel, and then like whoever left because they probably died or something. Whatever. That's just what happened. Jackalos just live in the Nopel plants. Yeah, safe enough. So you all finish that up. You all get the person there. The Baghettian woman's very angry. She will certainly tell somebody about this. Largely, probably anybody that will hear her.
Yeah.
Most people, if she says she's from the Inquisition. I don't think this is enough.
Life.
Huh? I don't think this is enough to lower your influence with the Inquisition, but she's certainly angry with you.
Yeah.
So yeah. So you do that. You clear this out. You dealt with the Jackalo. You save the person. You've gotten this burned out stronghold for Abel. It's time to leave your guys now. Somebody will certainly probably be down maybe to do something with it at some point. And then you, as usual, are called back up to the Ebony Eye, erstwhile home of one Azazel for downtime and whatnot, recuperation, etc. The Ebony Eye is a Retribution class battleship with a servile crew, hellish conditions, a lack of food, and they follow the creed which Azazel is currently aligned to, in that a form of the Imperial Creed which focuses on the innate spirits present in all things, not just machines, although there are other people who follow different creeds that don't necessarily see that big of a difference, but what can you do to the uneducated other than burn them? So yeah, you go back to the Ebony Eye. You are not present in the hellish conditions. Abel is a connoisseur of the finer things in life. They like having nice things. They give their people nice things. You are, in fact, on one of the very few good parts of the ship in quarters that you can call your own, in conditions that are not hellish, with food that is not garish, and a crew that, while servile, does not seem inept nor malnutrition, which is impressive to say the least. We are going to do a slight run through of like a mission completion just because I want to get it out of the way, and then I'll give you more XP at the end of the session because you guys have finished up essentially. You've done another thing before this that will remain unnamed, I guess, but you do meet one low crusher, the erstwhile demanded assistance of one Abel Kell, who looks essentially like that generic farm boy that's almost guaranteed to become one of the most important people in the land in a fantasy story. He would have been that if Abel hadn't gotten a hold of him. So he looks like that farmhand high schooler that had a lot of potential but got stuck in what they were doing, and now they don't really do anything. He was erstwhilely grabbed while at some point while Worm was being coerced into Worm's services as well. And maybe Abel thought them competent, maybe Abel hoped that they would keep Worm in line in some capacity, but Abel found a further use for them as essentially being your liaison between themselves when they're in the field and you are on the ship, because Abel's busy in war zones and etc. She's not always going to be around you. You are essentially like a strike team, we'll call it that, to go and deal with things for them while the Ion Ebony does other stuff and you're elsewhere. So Lo brings you all to a hollow call, which is very expensive, but again, Abel likes to find things in life, and she's in a war zone that can apparently handle the communications. What you do see is one Abel Kell. She is in or you do not actually see one Abel Kell. What you do see is a Cadet Commissar Sill, a 22-year-old, focus-eyed, blonde-haired young male. They have old poxmark scars, which is apparently very common in this sector because I've rolled it like 7 times. I guess at one point I had a very fervent pox. It's spread across everywhere. But you see them. They're like trying to like tune things in. You can see that kind of face of like a Skype call that's trying to get figured out, and then they notice that it got figured out. And they're like, oh, Lord Commissar, it's Betty. And they move back over as Abel like bursts into the scene, fierce-eyed. They look like a woman in their late 30s, but they are much older. They're near Worm's age, a little bit older than them, but they do rejuve because they have the money, or they requisition the treatments. You can know that whatever fight she's in the middle of isn't going particularly well because she's a bit more disheveled than she would be, as usually she keeps her uniform buttoned tight. And just as fights go on, if she's in the middle of the battlefield, it just gets like more and more disheveled. Like a button here, the sash is off kilter there, etc., etc. She is more or less put together. You'll tell me what you did on your last job, and I hope to Throne you got that stronghold, because if you didn't, you'll be paying the price. Secondarily, after Lo tells me whether you did or didn't, when we're done with this call, you have 2 objectives. 1, you're going to Orpheus, which is, in fact, on the other side of the sector, technically outside of it. You'll be handling something there. Of course, your first general objective is to secure a stronghold for me, a base of operations that I can use. And I'm not talking just some room in a backwater. I mean a place of operations. How you do that is your business. I don't care. Acquire it. Rightfully. I don't want it to be gone by the next time somebody gets there. It might be a smart thing to do first, given that the Ebony Eye is not going to be your home while you're there, and that planet will literally freeze you to death. I would suggest you also get environmental gear, unless you want it to be provided to you, which it can be, but that's a discussion that you can have with Lo afterwards. You know that stronghold doesn't mean fort. It just means something she could feasibly be like, yes, we can get this working into some kind of order. You technically got a fort for her before, but like, it was available. Real estate's hard to come by. Now, you might be able to find a lead on that through your second objective. The Enforcer Medicaid facilities of Orpheus have had an uptick in fever leading to comatose states. Normally, they'd think it was some kind of poor inoculation batch, but they're suffering strange dreams. And there's a miasma bubbling under the surface, according to the Adeptus Astrotelepathica of the area, which have come through in reports from one scribe. I don't remember his title, and I don't particularly care, but don't tell him that. One scribe Mortis has gathered together a pool of reports, and so he will likely have more information. He's brought up the situation to me in the first place. And so, in the lieu of unity between the forces of the Imperium and humanity overall, I would suggest you speak with him, gather information on the matter, and conduct whatever investigation you are going to with him, sending him said reports, as Lo will be on the Ebony Eye, and he can get those reports from Mortis, as I will be in the middle of a fight. You hear a large artillery cannon go off in the background. You hear Sill in the background shout, "Guardsmen, your uplifting primer looks far too new to have been used properly. 30 lashings, publicly!" I will say there is something else. Mortis sent in this report specifically requesting Jack because of something that got jumbled in the astropathic message. This is not uncommon. One, the well in the center of the sector kind of eats astropathic messages if they cross too near it, so it kind of garbles stuff. And 2, Mortis has worked with Jack before, so it could just be that he thinks that they can handle it. So I would like one of you to repeat the 2 objectives to me. That way I know that you Throne well understand what I said, and you don't get to play what you did the last time.
What did we do last time?
You played like you didn't understand what I said.
I did.
Not you, just you all. What are your objectives?
Get a house.
And?
Investigate what is going on with the dream hallucinations.
Good enough. as I said, the Ebony Eye will be doing other things, particularly refitting and refueling items that are near the edge of the sector. They may be deployed elsewhere. As usual, you will only be paid for time on mission. I expect this mission to be done in the usual time, preferably within a week. If it's going to be longer than a week, you'll need to explain yourselves. Do you have any questions, or can I get back to fighting the Emperor's wars?
Call me Speed, Lord Commissar.
I have nothing.
Nothing at all.
Eternal power call.
I feel like she would have been angry if I asked the questions for anyone.
She generally is.
Hi, Desio.
All right.
So yeah, from here, I mean, Lo was there. He heard what his job will be in the situation of getting information from Mortis that you give to Mortis. He'll be on the Ebony Eye, previewing whatever situation they need to preview there, but also trying to keep an overview eye on you, I guess. But making sure that you feasibly do the things that you need to do. Yeah, and he kind of like looks around. I think he's essentially younger than all of you. Well, I don't know. How old is Jack again?
Oh, no. Jack is 19.
Okay, so he's the same age as Jack. He just also happens to be in a much more prominent position of social standing currently, even though he's also from a backwater nowhere. But we'll get into rewards and downtime and then into the rest of the mission itself when we come back. So see you next month, guys.
As always, thank you for listening. If you like what we do, please support us on Patreon. Otherwise, have a good one, and we'll see you in the next one.